AITAH for choosing my girlfriend over my ex-wife and son? Story 1. I am 55 male and my GF of 3 years is 40F. My ex-wife and I divorced 4.5 years ago, and she hasn't quite got over it. She divorced me for her coworker, she was abusive and we fought all the time. Anyway, when that relationship failed, she started being nice to me. I have a 15-year-old son named Sean. We have a great relationship. His mother and I are starting to co-parent better. Here is the issue. His mother can't stand the fact I am in a relationship, and she is no longer seeing her coworker. She can't seem to keep a boyfriend right now. She's quite difficult to be with. She hates my girlfriend and therefore Sean, and my girlfriend do not have a relationship as Sean does whatever his mother says. I've tried talking with Sean, he is somewhat like his mother. My GF will not force a relationship either. She says if someone doesn't want to be a part of her life, then she don't need them. I have to agree as my son and ex-wife has been unfair to her. Now, this past week, I've been out of town for work. I already informed my ex and my son that I wouldn't be around. My girlfriend decided to take some time this week to do things she's wanted to do around the house, some repairs and decorating. My ex called me to tell me that she met someone and wanted to know if Sean can stay at my house while she spends the weekend with this guy. I told her that Sean is perfectly capable of staying home at their house by himself. She said that she doesn't want him home alone and that he is scared in case something happens. She insisted that she will drop him off at my house. I told her that my GF is not going to watch him. She is not obligated to watch someone who has treated her like shit for the entire time we have been together, and that Sean can stay home at his house. My GF has tried in the past to have a relationship with them both, and they have refused, so that ship has sailed unless my GF really wants to, which, at this point, I'd say no because we all know that they are just using her and I am not allowing that. My ex-wife says I am choosing my girlfriend over our son, which I don't feel that I am. I feel that I am choosing to teach my son that listening to his mother and acting like her will cause him to face consequences down the road. I even talked to my GF and she says she doesn't feel comfortable being at home with a 15-year-old that practically hated her, and it'd just be them two, knowing how he and his mother can be. She said if things were different, and they had a great relationship, she wouldn't mind, but not this way. I support her and I don't want her to feel uncomfortable either. My son comes over every other weekend and this isn't even our weekend either. So, you all tell me. Our advice. It sounds like you're navigating a complex situation with your ex-wife, son, and current girlfriend. Here are a few points to consider. Prioritizing boundaries. It's important to set boundaries and prioritize your current relationship. Your girlfriend should not be forced into an uncomfortable situation, especially if there's been hostility from your ex-wife and son towards her. Respect for your girlfriend. It's commendable that you're supporting your girlfriend's feelings and not putting her in a situation where she feels unwelcome or unsafe. Your relationship should be a positive and supportive environment for both of you. Communication with your son. While your son's relationship with your girlfriend may be strained due to his mother's influence, continue to communicate openly with him about your decisions and the reasons behind them. Encourage him to form his own opinions in relationships based on his experiences. Parental responsibilities. Your ex-wife's request to leave your son with you while she spends time with someone else should be respectfully declined if it doesn't align with your plans or comfort level. It's reasonable for Sean to stay at their home if he's capable and feels safe. Teaching responsibility. Teaching your son about respecting boundaries and consequences for his actions is important. However, ensure that your approach is balanced and focused on fostering healthy relationships rather than punitive measures. In conclusion, it's not about choosing your girlfriend over your son, but about maintaining healthy boundaries and supporting your current relationship while also nurturing your relationship with your son. Keep communicating openly and honestly with all parties involved, and prioritize everyone's well-being and comfort. First comment. This is the correct answer. You need to put it back on the ex-wife. Why are you prioritizing some new guy over your son? It's not like this is a long-term boyfriend and they are planning a 2-week cruise and you're being unreasonable in planning months in advance. This is just her wanting to make spur-of-the-moment changes to the parenting agreement so she can try and lock this guy before he realizes that she's a bitter and angry woman. NTA, but you are allowing the ex to put you on the defensive because you aren't accommodating her unrealistic demands. Next time the son is over, you should sit him down and explain how he is alienating people in his attempt to support his mom. It's good that he's supporting her, but he can do that without being a prick to your new girlfriend. Second comment. NTA, ask your ex why she's choosing spending the weekend with some random guy over your son. She can plan a weekend shagging when your son is with you, without any issues. To keep the discussion productive, I would word it as spending time with a new BF, and spending time in the weekend leaving out the shagging. You're not home. He hasn't put in any effort in building a relationship with your GF, so if he were to stay at your place, he would still be by himself. And on top of that, your GF simply isn't comfortable with only a teenage boy in the house that has never shown any respect for her. She can shag the guy on your weekend, or leave him home alone, or get a sitter LOL. Story 2. AITAH for telling my mom she can only meet her grandchild if she fires my ex. My ex-fiancée Maddie works for my mom as a personal assistant. I'm not going to lie and say I had no weird feelings about it when we broke up, but I also didn't expect my mom to just fire her. My mom is extremely dependent on Maddie, and to be honest, probably thinks of her like a daughter. When I met my beautiful wife Lainey, she had reservations and wasn't comfortable about Maddie still being in the picture, but I assured her she was simply my mom's assistant. Lainey still resents my mom for keeping Maddie around, but knows I am devoted to her. Recently, we revealed to our families that we are expecting our first child. We just told our parents and weren't planning on telling anyone else. To be fair, we didn't mention this to my mom, and I guess she told Maddie, who thought it was a big joke and told everyone. Lainey was furious and I confronted my mom. My mom said she didn't realize it was a secret and she didn't think Maddie would tell so many people. She said she just mentioned it while Maddie was doing her hair for an event. Now Lainey was irate and so was I, so I told my mom she had gone too far, and it is sick how she keeps Maddie in our lives. I said if she wants to see her grandchild, she needs to fire Maddie so we can all move on. My mom told me I was being a child and she doesn't give in to people threatening her. Now everyone is saying I'm an asshole and IDK. I would feel slightly bad if Maddie lost her job because I know she makes bank plus all the trips and gifts. Like she isn't going to get another job like that, but my priority is Lainey's well-being. Our advice. It sounds like you're dealing with a complex situation involving family dynamics and personal boundaries. Here are a few perspectives to consider. Communication and boundaries. It's crucial to communicate openly and clearly with your mom about your feelings and concerns. Explain to her why Lainey feels uncomfortable with Maddie's continued presence in your lives, especially given your past relationship with Maddie. It's important for your mom to understand how this affects your family's well-being. Respect for autonomy. While it's reasonable to express your discomfort, demanding that your mom fire Maddie might be perceived as overstepping boundaries. Your mom likely values her relationship with Maddie and sees her as a valued employee and companion. Respect your mom's autonomy in making decisions about her personal and professional relationships. Finding middle ground instead of issuing ultimatums. Try to find a compromise that respects everyone's feelings. Perhaps your mom can set clearer boundaries with Maddie regarding personal matters, emphasizing confidentiality and discretion. Prioritizing family harmony. Your priority is understandably Lainey's well-being and comfort during this exciting time of expecting a child. However, strive to address these issues in a way that fosters family harmony rather than creating more tension or resentment among family members. Considering impact. Consider the potential impact on Maddie if she were to lose her job. While your concerns are valid, it's important to weigh the consequences for all involved parties. First comment. Reasonable mom, it upset us that you told Maddie personal news we weren't ready to share yet. However, I take responsibility that we didn't tell you that we weren't ready to share it yet. In the future, could you not tell Lainey and my personal information to Maddie without clearing it with me first? Unreasonable. My wife is insecure about my ex, and I don't like her, so fire her or you never see your grandchild. You're an and you really think people will be nice to Lainey if her insecurities and your issues get someone your mom is close to fired? Especially fired over your mom not telepathically knowing you didn't want it shared. You don't think it will blow up? Or your mom, and possibly others, won't just choose not to be in your life rather than be subservient to your childishness and your wife's insecurity? Weaponizing your baby for your issues isn't a good look. Cause I think you and Lainey are kind of pathetic for demanding someone be fired for telling people you're pregnant when you literally didn't tell people not to say anything. She looks like a whiny, insecure, crazy pregnant lady, and you the tantruming 5-year-old taking your ball and going to his room cause mommy won't let him do what he wants. Second comment. Bottom line, your mother has shared personal information regarding you and your wife her assistant. Normally not a big deal, as it would be assumed. I know that a personal assistant would be discreet and keep confidences. Not this one. She blasted it everywhere before you were ready to make your own announcement. This will be your forever if you don't enforce the boundary. I would modify your approach. Mom, it wasn't right to ask you to fire your assistant. Not your ex, her assistant. However, it also wasn't right that you shared our news your assistant, and she chose to not keep it confidential but announced our personal news before we were ready and without our permission. Because neither of you understand privacy, we will be putting new boundaries in place. We will no longer tell you any personal news of ours. Because you both chose to not maintain our privacy, we will no longer share any news that we don't want to share publicly. As you have demonstrated a complete lack of respect for us, we will learn from this and modify our behavior going forward. You will be the last to know anything. We will not ask your advice on anything. We will not invite you into our home going forward, as we want to maintain our privacy in our own home. You only have yourself to blame, Mom. You have chosen to employ a person who will never be anything but a liability to my family. If this situation changes in the future, we can discuss this again. Until then, you are not welcome in our home or to meet our child. You reap what you sow.